If you're a marketer, you know how much of the week goes into just creating content. But today, we're going to change that. I'll show you how to build your content system using Claude Cowork and Claude Code that handles repurposing, carousel posts, ads, SEO content, and even your content calendar, all from one single project folder. Multiple platforms, but one system. Let's go. Every content system should have at least 3 core components. The context layer. This is your brand knowledge, your voice, your audience, your products. This is what makes the output sound like you. The skill layer. The reusable instructions that tells the system how to execute specific tasks. The orchestration layer. Claude with your tools connected. Reading your inputs, running the right skills, and pushing content outputs. And the whole system can be controlled with something as simple as just a spreadsheet. For this demo, the brand is called Goldie Coffee, which is a specialty cafe brand. And inside, we have 3 parts. What I call the system folder that store the useful brand context, the skills just for this project, and a script folder. And then your working folder for your marketing content, like ads, SEO, social. And most importantly, the Claude.md file that is the system prompt for this project. And the content planner Excel, which I'll explain in a minute. And by the way, this is what we're covering inside our AI growth system for marketing program. You will learn the complete setup and get all the templates to design your own. So if you're interested, you can find the link below to join. Now, before we even get started, Claude Cowork doesn't automatically read the project level skills like Claude Code does. So you will want to add these instructions to your Claude.md file to point it to your skill folder. Or if you want this to apply across all your projects, you can just set it once on the settings. Cowork, global instructions using the same prompt instruction. So either method will work. Okay, our first use case is the one every marketer deals with, content repurposing. And there is a reason we start here. This is the highest ROI task because you are not creating anything new. You are just unlocking more value from content you have already made. And using just one system, you can turn one piece of content into multiple formats. So here inside the social input folder, so we already have 3 blog posts that we want to repurpose. So think of this where you put all the files as part of the input for AI to process and to create or repurpose content to multiple formats as the output. Now on Claude Cowork, pick the same project folder. So we will use this prompt to ask it to read the blog content and then repurposing them into different social content. Since we will also generate visuals, so make sure you also install the Nano Banana MCP. So it is now loading the relevant context, including the Claude.md file, as well as the project-specific skills and the post-creation framework. And you will notice it's spinning up parallel agents automatically. So that is Cowork doing it for you. So 99% of time, you don't need to create sub-agents manually inside Claude Cowork. And pretty quickly, it comes back with a total 9 posts and 6 visuals, all repurposed from the same set of sources. So each post indicates the source used, the format, and even the hook. And also the visual direction in case you need to pass to a teammate to handle the visual. And also the LinkedIn post with the post structure and hook extracted from the framework. And the newsletter draft with the subject line options and suggested CTA. Of course, we still need to review it to make sure it aligns with our voice before publishing. Now for the social visuals, they are also pretty decent and they're generated to align with the post content. And I have intentionally asked it to exclude the text. And all these files are saved inside the output folder. And so this is the power of setting up your content system right from the beginning to keep everything organized. So we just saw how this content system can do, and everything we set up lives right inside Claude Cowork. And if you want to take this further, I recommend these free resources from HubSpot, the Claude Cowork Stack 12 Advanced Prompt to replace the week of work. It's a great complement to what I covered in this video. This is a resource that gives you 12 structured prompts built specifically for how Cowork works with your files and connectors, which is very helpful for your content workflows like the Content Performance Analyzer, Competitive Intelligence Report, Content Repurposing Pipeline. What I particularly like is how these prompts are all designed around the most common workflows every marketer would need, and a great inspiration to design my own Claude skills and prompts. So start with the templates and then adapt them for your specific workflows so you can build your own marketing prompts and skill library over time. You can grab it for free below, and thank you HubSpot for sponsoring this video. All right, we just built a repurposing content system, but what about creating new content, especially the one that drives the most engagement? Carousel posts. And this is one of the most popular content format every marketer loves. Using Claude, we can build a carousel post generation system that generates full on-brand carousel sets, visuals, and copies right inside Claude Cowork based on your input brief. And this is just a basic template, and this system can generate much more than that. So to generate beautiful on-brand carousel visuals, the key is to set up what I call a style library. So inside this example folder, we have this carousel style library where it contains different carousel post style. So you include different distinct style to give AI inspiration direction. But very important, we are not asking AI to follow these templates rigidly, but to use it as a guidance only. And also this style guide file lets Claude to quickly grasp what is inside, so it doesn't have to analyze every image in real time. Then we also have this visual folder that will handle all the visual input and outputs, like the example I just showed you. And here we have the content planner, so think of it as your command center. So each tab defines the input requirement for that content type. And the first one is already done from our previous demo. So everything is ready. Now on Cowork, pick the same project folder. So use this prompt to ask it to read through the content planner and then to create a carousel post for those that have the empty status and to update the content planner after complete. So immediately it reads there are 5 sets of carousel posts need to create and launch 5 carousel generation tasks in parallel and calling the carousel post designer skill. And pretty quickly, we have all 23 carousel visuals being generated for different platforms. So they're grouped by the campaign topic with the generated post copy. And this is quite impressive. It's not exactly following the template, exactly what we want, but adding its own variation to make it look fresh and on brand. So some are more text heavy style, while some are visual heavy with different vibe. But I see the logos are not consistent as we haven't given it our brand logo. So this is the area we can enhance. But you can see these carousel post drafts are pretty good, even though you just want to use it as a quick mock-up or client brief. And the content planner has also been updated with the output file paths, the complete status. So this is why even with just a spreadsheet, everything is working like a system. Now we can take a step further to create a scheduled task right inside the same conversation. So we can use the built-in /command schedule to set up our new scheduled task to let it run this whole workflow every Friday at 9 a.m. Then you can review the details and proceed if you like it. And you can always make changes to the task by checking all the existing created scheduled tasks. But an important note is that for now, the scheduled task function will only run while your Claude desktop is open. And my tip is to create a scheduled task that doesn't require human interactions or approval, so the agent can really run itself. Now at this point, we have got carousel posts generating themselves on a schedule, but all that content is still sitting in your local folders. Your team can't see it, can't review it, can't publish it. And this is why your system needs a distribution layer, a way to automatically push finished content where people can actually review, approve, and publish it. So let me show you how that works. So for this task, since we also need to upload media files like the social visuals to our Notion database, so we will create a reusable Python script inside the system script folder. Just think of this script as a mini program. So Claude will use whenever it needs to upload the media files to Notion using the API key. So going back to our content planner, we're going to upload all the files from our output folder to Notion, and then to ask Claude to update the Notion schedule status once finished. And since we need to upload media files through external API call, so for that purpose, we will need to use Claude Code. So now go back to Claude Desktop. From there, we'll switch to Claude Code. And again, here, pick the right project folder. And then make sure we already got the Notion MCP connected. Then use this prompt to ask it to read the content planner and to create a new entry on the Notion content calendar for those where the schedule on Notion status is empty. So Claude will spin up agents to run this task and set up the to-do list for the Notion entry creation and social visual uploading. So in just 1 second, Claude pushed all the entries to Notion where you can see side by side, and finally updating the content plan with the spreadsheet. So now all the 6 new new carousel posts are already being created on our calendar. So all posts are created correctly. So you can see there is a title, the scheduled publish day, platform status, and the post copy. So they're all correct. And for the files and media, just click on it to double check. So all the generated social visuals for these carousel posts are being uploaded as well. So this is perfect. So imagine you're collaborating with a team using this Notion calendar. They can just open the calendar and everything they need is already there. So they can review and mark comments. Now, if that's one thing that is up the most time and budget on any marketing team, is ads creative. It is a whole different challenge. You need a creative brief, a visual directions, and enough variations to actually test what would be working. So let me show you how the system can also handle that, from campaign to creative brief to scaling and variations. For our ad creative system, so first we'll create the style library. So similar to the carousel library we just did, this library will focus more on the ad creative side. So it contains different style of the high performing reference, including static ads or carousel post ad, as well as the ad creative style guide. And then under the ads folder, so we have the input folder where we will include any reference images. So these can be your product images, competitor reference, or maybe studio backgrounds. So for this case, I have included 2 product images where I want the model to reference explicitly. So back to our content planner. So under the ad tab, we have the campaign name, the products and offers, the goals for this campaign, the platform, etc. So first we need to generate the creative brief. So I will use this prompt to load the content planner and generate a brief for each campaign. So you can see it's spinning up parallel agents to handle all 5 at once using the ad creative brief skill. And just like that, 5 briefs are done quickly. So each one followed the pre-built template with campaign overview, target audience, key message, hook variations, creative directions, all structured and consistent. And you can always tweak the template to fit your case. And everything is saved inside this output folder, organized by campaign name, which is perfect. So that means everything is ready. We're going to generate the ad creatives. So again, back to Cowork, use this prompt to ask it to read through all creative briefs to understand the requirements and then generate the ad creatives. So now you can see it's starting the ad creative style guide, calling the creative designer skill, setting up agents to generate the 5 sets of creatives. So note by default, I have set the system to always generate 5 ad creatives for each design. So this is why you can see finally we will have 25 ad creatives generated across the 5 campaigns. And the best thing is they're all being saved inside the same campaign folder along with the brief. And they all look pretty impressive. So like this one where we use the Grazing Cups reference image. So you can definitely tell Nano Banana have used it across these 5 ad variations. And what I really like is that they just have different vibes and moods to give you lots of inspiration. And for other campaigns, they're also well executed with different moods matching the campaign theme. And this one about the pumpkin season campaign, also using our reference image as the anchor, which is nicely done. Now I would say though, these are still not production ready. So there's still things that needs to be fixed. So like the logo and the tagline, but these will give you a lot of inspiration on how your products or service will look like in real campaign settings. So across different formats and placement. And I suggest to always include more of your reference image so the final output quality will be even closer to what you want. So far, we have covered social, carousels, and ads. But there is one channel that compounds over time more than any other. That is organic search. But the challenge is SEO content takes the longest to produce. So now we're going to batch create full blog posts from content briefs, generate header images, and push them straight to your website as draft. So for this blog writing system, first we set up the blog content brief template, and together with the AI search blog writer skills, we have already created different sets of content briefs that sit inside this input folder under SEO. So it contains our topic and keyword strategy, content angles, structure and formats, AI search optimization notes so we can standardize the whole process. And now the key is to include them inside our content planner, which has the target topic, content angle, as well as the content brief file path and status. So now on Cowork, use this prompt to ask it to read the content brief generated and then create a blog post draft, and then also generate the feature header image for the blog. So now it will use the AI search blog writing skills for the task, reading all the content briefs, and spin up parallel blog writing agents. So once it is finished, it will kick off the header image generation task for each blog. So the total process takes around 15 minutes. So each draft follows the content brief with table of contents, key takeaways, bullet points, and structure formatting. And what's great is that it also generates the blog header image so you can use for that article, so each matching the blog content. But we are not done yet. So we are also pushing these article drafts straight to the website, which is a WordPress in this case. So for this purpose, we need a WordPress MCP tool. And since we are also uploading the images through the external API call, we will also use Claude Cowork again. So on Claude Cowork desktop, I ask it to read through each post draft and push them to WordPress with a header image, creating each one as a new draft. So it will load the content planner, pull the to-do list for all the 7 posts, and works through them one by one. A quick tip is, if you ever hit context window limit, you can use the built-in / command compact to free up context space, or even better, split them up into separate Claude Cowork sections. And now all the 7 posts are created as draft on the website. So we can double check from the back end. So each one has the feature image that Claude upload, the exact content with formatting, optimized for AI search, and it is exactly the version we see from the local draft. But still, I highly recommend to have a human review first, enhance it with your own insights, adding unique data, graphics before posting. But the time saving is huge, so you can just initiate the same pipeline on schedule, so you can always have fresh content draft waiting for your posting. If you enjoyed this video so far, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. I also invite you to join our growth community. We are now running a workshop series about building AI system for marketing, where we go much deeper from context setup, research workflows, all the way to building a complete system. You can find the link below to join. I hope to see you there and join other AI native marketers. And before you go, if you want to learn how to create your first cloud skills for marketing, also watch these 2 videos. I will see you next time.